Rich and Ryan welcome you to the RNR The Stuff podcast.
Hey, Rich, how are you doing today?
Man, I am doing great because today we're going to talk about treasures.
Yes, we picked up some awesome treasures. A little while ago, we talked about it, a quest, a pilgrimage. Where did we go?
VCF East. And I tell you what, my attitude has not changed since our VCF recordings. I know sometimes I leave an event and I'm so jazzed, like CrimeCon. I left CrimeCon and I was so jazzed. I wanted to go back every year for the next 12 years, right? I was This is it. I want to do it. But about halfway, 6 months, maybe a little bit, I was like, man, I could skip CrimeCon. Maybe we go every 3 years. Maybe we go every 4 years.
Okay.
Dude, I'm still. You picking me up at the airport next year?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No, I'm in.
Yeah.
100% in.
It is good. And this year we had a little switcheroo. We talked about it, that I'm the one that bought more things this year than you did somehow.
I know. How did that happen?
Dude, it was the Amiga, man. That motherboard was a great pickup, and because you donated to me the other motherboard, the other Amiga 500.
Correct.
Otherwise, that never would have crossed my mind. So your donation was there. Everybody can listen in the other episode about how I sneaked it right out from under Ryan and bought it. But that was a good one. And you did much better on one of the pieces, but I did pick up a box of software that I slipped into your deal. So I got for free, basically. So that didn't cost me any money. And Hunt for Red October. And dude, I booted it up. It's
how is it?
It's just as beautiful as it was when I was, 13, 15, something like that, I was playing that. When I started driving, I kind of stopped Commodoring as much. I started going out, running around with friends and doing more social things. Commodore was always there, just not as prevalent as before. So I think I was probably 13 when that happened. And I tell you what, I made a comment in the video I was making around it that I'm not too sure the games back then were really longer than the games today.
Okay.
Is it just the fact of load screens?
Maybe. I don't know. It's like you load and you're just like hanging out. Now I'm like, is this thing really doing something? What's going on? I'm like, oh no, this is just how they were, right?
I know.
Patience.
And to us, that was lightning fast back then. So
it was.
Yeah, I had a great time. I got the data sets, and the feedback on everything on those data sets is the freebie data set that we also saw being sold. The exact same box, exact same version. We saw it being sold. I think someone just threw one in the freebie area, and I took it. And then I bought a Commodore data set, and I went to do my testing. The freebie one, boom, worked great. Looks like crap. Needs to be cleaned. I got to take it apart, wash it down. That's all. The Commodore one looked pretty darn good. I gave it a cleaning. Looks really nice after a cleaning, but it was having key issues. Like you would press the play down and the stop wouldn't make it come up.
That's so good.
So I took it all apart. I know you like Deoxit. I like BW100. I just kind of same thing. I just BW100 it to begin with, just to say, let me get all the mechanisms. Let me get all the button areas and blew it out with my air can. It works great.
That's awesome.
And one of the cassettes I checked does work. The other ones I haven't checked yet.
Okay. Just a note, dear listener, the WD, it's not WD-40. Don't mix them up or you're going to be in for a very bad time. That's the only thing that gets me with you're using the WD stuff.
No, BW100. BW, Bravo, Wilco 100, just FYI.
But I think it's made by the same people that makes WD-40.
Oh, is it really?
I thought one of these is made by the same people. So you got to be careful which one to get. Where the Deoxit one, I know the can looks totally different and I won't mix them up.
I never noticed that because, I Amazon mine. I just have them shipped in. And so, but when I go to Micro Center, they're a Deoxit shop.
Yeah, they are. And that's where I got mine. I picked mine up at Micro Center and it was, that's why, I'm using what I'm using. But, and I think was following follow a lot of Chris Edwards stuff, so he's using a lot of more deoxit, and that's where I went with deoxit first. I didn't even realize, but I think he does use some of this stuff too. But yeah, it's you just got to be careful. Make sure you're using contact cleaner and not like a WD-40, or you're gonna be very, very sad.
Oh my God. The WD-40, if that happened, how would you get all that off your board and out of your, what would you do?
You would be very unhappy. At that point, you'd have to try to do some kind of like an ultrasonic cleaning and like IPA, or I think there's an IPA in a can, or like an ultrasonic cleaner in a can, just like fire stuff out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it'd be a good time. No. I'm just telling you, don't do that, because you're going to be very sad. So just be aware that they are two different things that I think would be very easy to mess up accidentally.
I think the last thing I got was another freebie. I grabbed a Franklin Language Master, thinking it was like an English to German or English to French, or that kind of deal, because I'm learning German. And I thought, that'd be fun. And who knows if it works. Dude, it cranked right up. It worked. I actually used it to make the intro on the last podcast we dropped, and I'll make an intro on it here. It's just, it's hilarious that's what we were doing back then. So yeah, the Franklin Language Master, that was about the extent of what I have. We're going to come back to the A500 plus, right? A500 plus?
We got an A500 plus, and we're going to talk about that momentarily.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one. So it's not off the bench yet. We've still got some conversation. And now this is, I say I didn't get as much as you this year, because I think value-wise, I just spent more.
You spent more, yeah.
But I think item-wise, you got more.
I bought more individual things. So there's a vendor there that brings like old, new in box games from different platforms, 64, Amiga stuff, it has ST stuff, Mac, PC, it's Atari ST. And I bought pretty much one of every Amiga item that he had, and it was great. So I ended up with 14 different titles. 13 of them are games, and one of them is another, like a paint program to do, like pixel art, or which I'm terrible at. So I don't know. I just bought it because it's an Amiga thing, new in box.
And it's the 39th year of the Amiga, so you might as well.
Yeah, right. I was like, I'll buy a little bit of everything, and it was great. So really enjoyed it.
Have you popped anything open, or are you keeping them closed in box or sealed in box?
I have not opened anything at this point. I am not sure what I'm going to do with them. I am probably going to open them at some point, just because I don't care. I want to use stuff. I don't want to put it on the shelf and stare at it. Yeah. I bought this stuff to play with. I'm pretty excited about the Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. It has a world almanac from whatever year. I think it was 1989 or whatever in it. Inside the box, it came with it, so you can look up the stuff like where did Carmen's henchmen go to. And, there's a lot of these games actually look really, really cool. Some of them look pretty terrible. There's a couple of them that I just bought them. There's an Amiga thing, and I'm like, oh, that's a spreadsheet game. Cool. So what I mean by a spreadsheet game is you're just moving text around and buying and selling stuff. It's like a trading game. No, there's not a lot else going on.
Trade Wars.
Trade Wars. Yeah, Trade Wars looks cooler.
Yeah. I know. So I know, Ryan, you like to stay legal. That's like even with the 500 that you donated, you were like, hey, you need to get your ROMs, and you kind of pushed me where I'll be able to buy my ROMs from, so that because we can get anything we want off the internet, but you like to stay legal. Now, by chance, I understand opening Carmen Sandiego, because boy, that's kind of cool. The source book is an almanac for the game, so I kind of want to play it that way. On some of the other ones, will you go get and I don't know what to call them in Amiga land. What do you, because it's not a D64. What are you going to go download?
No, I mean, there are two options. So you can get the ADF, so it's an Amiga disk format disc.
Yeah.
And they act like a disk. That's what a GoTech will use. You put that on your flash drive for the GoTech, and then you just pick up the disk and it'll mount it like a disk. Hey, great. That's how you get floppies there. You can read them on the Amiga. If you have a floppy drive, you can, write to a floppy disk if you want. And I'm pretty sure you could actually create new ADFs that way and do that. As a selfish plug, I did drop a blog post recently of how to create an ADF disk and put files on it. And I moved some files from my Mac over to my Amiga by splitting a file up in sections, and then mounting the 4 ADF disks, and then reassembling them on the Amiga side and un-LHRking them.
And it was a very well done article. I gave it a good read, and I think maybe did I read it right when you dropped it, and then I had a few, because one of the great things about having me read things is I'm completely a novice to where I can give you the point of view of someone that has no clue, instead of the person that can give you the point of view of, well, there's 18 different ways to do this, and I like to do it this way. Yours is inefficient. My view is going to be very, what does that mean?
Right.
I thought it was really well put together, very easy to understand.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. It was just something, hey, this is a way to do it. I wanted to see if I could do it, and I did it. So if I would share that knowledge.
Yeah, that's what the whole community is about. It really is. Exactly. It's unbelievable. Okay, so are you going to go download ADFs for these games so that you don't have to open some of the boxes, but you can experience what the game's like?
I don't know that I'm going to get the ADFs. There's another option called WHD Load, which is a piece of software that runs, and someone has taken the ADFs and built what's called a slave file. So what it's doing is loading the ADFs, and they have figured out where the copy protection is, removed it, figured out whatever they needed to do to make it run from the hard drive. So it'll actually run from a hard drive of an Amiga. You double click on it, it'll launch it, and you can pass parameters in. Is it NTSC? Is it PAL? Do I want to turn off my processor caches? What do I want it? There's a whole bunch of options that you can pass into it, so it'll run on your particular Amiga. And then you just double click it, it'll load it from the hard drive, and you're good to go.
Okay,
so
I got to ask.
I will more than likely do that.
I got to ask questions.
Sure.
Was this developed like back during the Amiga days, or was this developed like currently 5-10 years?
It's been around for a little while. I don't remember. I'm looking right now. It's been around for a while. I know that. It did not exist when I was doing stuff in the. When did I get rid of it? It was probably mid '90s when I first, unfortunately, sold a lot of my stuff.
Yeah.
It did not exist at that point in time. It has been some amount. I just don't know.
Okay, just curious, because that's really, I'll find a link for it, and I'll put it in our links to go out with this episode, so I'll answer my own question.
Yes.
But I tell you what, that's pretty neat to think that if someone made that like 30 years after the Amiga, to where it's like, people are amazing. They just keep making the most amazing things for these boxes.
Oh yeah, and they're still making new, as they find a new game or something that doesn't have one of these ported yet, someone's doing it as I'm going to guess as a hobby to go figure out.
Project.
Yeah, they're trying to get it. They want to run the game off their drive. Yeah. There's a development tool set on their page. There's the drive, the software you need to run. There's stuff with, you got to have legal copy. Well, for me, I look at legal copies of the ROMs, and then there's little ROM binaries that go with it. So it's like the little bit of the hack, so they can. It's basically running a Amiga and a VM inside of an Amiga. It's really the best way to analogy it.
That works for me. That's pretty crazy. I'm amazed. But yes, I hope you do. And so that way you can kind of keep some pristine and minty, because those boxes were minty. When I was opening Red Storm Rising, it was like, and then you got to get that big smell. You got to get your nose in there and smell the 80s. And so good. But Carmen, that's a good one to crack open.
Yeah, I want to go see it. And some of these, I probably will end up opening them over time, but probably not until I'm ready to go play them. Yeah. I want to experience them a little bit at a time and just have some fun with them. Because But I'm glad that I think it's like Eli's Software is the guy that
Yeah,
does it. It's pretty much
yeah.
the only thing he comes to every year. He's a software engineer, and this is something he had done before. And just has a lot of leftover old stock.
Oh, he has a lot. He
He has
calls
a
the
lot.
warehouse his retirement.
Yep, and it's
Yeah.
he's a great guy. I really enjoyed chatting with him, and I look forward to seeing him every year, seeing what new software
Yeah.
he digs out of his warehouse to bring to VCF East.
I was so excited. And by the way, Red Storm Rising is like Carmen. It comes with a whole manual you have to learn to do your submarine with. It has all the reference material. It's like, oh, so beautiful.
It's great. The games at that time, they had manuals in there. They told you what's going on. What does this key sequence do? They were great. It's just an awesome experience.
I know it's not. I just downloaded Final Fantasy VII Remake on Steam Deck and
Oh, okay.
started playing. And of course, it's not the same game, dude. I was so happy. At first, I was nervous. Then I was really happy.
Okay.
But there's no manual. I have to like go into the game and read things. I have to like, and they'll have some tutorial things, right? Like the first fight. They'll have some tutorial things. But there's so much that it's just so much. Just being able to flip through a manual for a while would be nice, or a web page.
Sure.
And there probably is a web page. I'm probably bitching for no reason. There probably is. There's something. But
I found a lot of websites out there that actually have the manual, or I've seen scans of the manual that exist as well. And
that's like when you were down here and you took some of that flight software.
Yes.
Yeah. That it had like the pages for the different airports with their landing.
Exactly. Yeah,
and it
exactly.
was like, that is just so cool. You're playing the game and you're flipping through. It's just neat. You can't bring up an on-screen HUD. You know what I mean? Yeah. Of where you're going to be going. You have to actually look at a book.
They didn't exist. This is great. This is the experience I was going for, and I love it. This is a great hobby.
Now you added a couple more things, and that kind of helped because I was feeling guilty about taking the motherboard from you.
The motherboard's great. It's not like I don't have enough Amiga sitting around my house already. I'm glad it's migrated to your house.
Yes.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do with it. So we got it back to my house after VCF. We got it back, and we were like, hey, let's see if this thing works. I got stuff here. And we go plug it in.
Oh, we had to. It wasn't if we was, Ryan, are you too tired? Can we play with this? Because that's really what it was. Is I just wanted to see if this was a really good deal. Because if it just turned on, that was a really good deal. Or whether I was completely screwed and this was actually going to be a money pit.
Right. And luckily, you weren't completely screwed. You were a little hosed, but not completely screwed. When we were there at VCF, I didn't notice some of the greening around the belly slot of the 500. So they had some battery leakage at one point. And then there was a little bit of battery damage right around where the battery would have went in that box. In the Amiga 500 Plus, there was a onboard NiCad battery. So the earlier Amigas, like the one I gave you, was a very early model Amiga 500. I think it was like, I forget what motherboard version, but there was no onboard battery. The battery would have been in the belly slot, and that would have given you the clock. With the later versions, the clock and the battery were on the motherboard itself. Unfortunately, it leaked at some point. So when we turned it on, nothing happened. I got a black screen.
Oh, I was so sad.
It was. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's go grab some dinner, and we'll come back to this. So you had a little bit of paperwork to do, and while you're doing that,
I had to pay my taxes. I waited till the last minute to do it electronically, and then there was something wrong with my information. Don't want to say too much, and so I just said, "Screw it." Do you have a printer? And I printed stuff out and got it all out the door. But anyways, go on.
So while you're doing that, I'm up with an awesome website called Amiga PCB org. It's Amiga PCB Explorer. There are several Amiga motherboards in there. It's fantastic. So when you go to it, I picked on the Amiga 500, and there it is. So I knew there were traces underneath that battery. So those were my suspect places. There's 4 or 5 of them. I don't really remember. And I'm doing continuity tests, and I'm like, okay, first one, that one's good. The second one, nothing. They're not
so
going.
good. Not so good. No beeps. No beep.
No beeps. No beeps. The third one, no beeps. The fourth one, I had a beep. Okay, cool. So I IPA'd it and cleaned it up a little bit more. Got a little bit.
You cleaned it up a lot more, and you did. Go over your cleaning process, because I remember something about that, and then I watched someone else using it on another video just this week on a Commodore 64. What was the thing?
Oh, I'll usually use a little bit of vinegar to counteract the NiCad battery, to get rid of some of that and try to let that sit a little bit. This one didn't look so bad. The other stuff I'll use at least 91% or 99% IPA, and I'll spray that down on there and hit it with Q-tips a lot to try to clean up all the crap that's still on the motherboard. If you don't do that, that acid will continue to eat away at your motherboard. So it might might fix it, but it might break again in 5 years, because it will continue to eat through things, and that's no good. I did that quite a bit. It's like, okay, we got a lot of crap off of it, let it dry some, and figured out where the wires are, and I popped 2 bodge wires on.
Okay, hold on. There was a pen involved.
Oh, to clean up some of the green, I use a fiberglass pen. So the fiberglass pen is a little bit of abrasion, and then you can take the top. You got to be light. You don't want to go down too far and eat the traces with it, but that'll clean off the top and get rid of some of that green crap, and then you use IPA again.
And is that where you bodged to?
No, I actually bodged to the bottom because it was easier.
Okay.
So I can see where the stuff's coming through to the bottom, and it gives it a little bit of protection when you put it back in a case. Not that you have one for that board yet, but when you have a case, then you can put it in the bottom. Or I'll just run through super short. They were probably 2 inches, maybe 3 inches long. Yeah. They were easy. You already have the pins coming through on the 500. It's all through hole, so stuff's coming through the board. Super easy. Like the newer Amigas, like the 4000, 1200, a lot of that surface mount, so you're bodge wiring on the top. In a lot of cases, I have 4000 where I had to do like 5 bodge wires, where the battery had leaked, cleaned it up, and then it ate away the chip and traces left of where the battery was.
And so I have a little bit of maintenance to do with you when we go to work on this on the bench.
Yes.
And that is, what color fingernail polish should I get to cover where you fiberglass penned?
It is.
Seriously, this is not a to-do episode, folks, but I forgot to buy that. I forgot to buy that, so I might as well get a pen, and I might as well get this fingernail polish.
It's a Sally Hansen brand, extreme wear nail color, and it is tan lime number 359.
Tan line, what was that number?
359.
And so the reason you use this is
it goes on as a bright green. Don't worry about that. When it dries almost to the color of the green of the motherboard.
There we go. I remember there was a very specific reason, because I'm like, well, Ryan, I got my black fingernail polish I use all the time. Why can't I just put that on? And I think you were like, well, you could.
You're right. 100% could. This lets you put a light coat on there that'll actually prevent some of these traces from oxidizing over time. And that'll protect where I ate away a little bit with that fiberglass pen. And you definitely want to do that.
And then it was happy days, because then I had a working motherboard, and I was like, woohoo! And by the way, I have tested everything after getting back to Dallas, because 100% TSA went through my bag. They left a note, and they did they actually broke the tape that I had. Ryan let me borrow some painter's tape to put the shell, the metal heat sink shielding.
Yep. Shielding.
Just to tie it really tight together. They actually broke the painter's tape so they could look inside and go, what the hell is this? And then of course they didn't seal it up. They just put it in there all half-assed. And it still made it.
I'm glad that worked out. But yeah, definitely. It was a neat experience. it was my first experience with actually troubleshooting for the most part. All of my other Amigas have generally worked, with the exception, well, even that 4000 works.
Yeah.
It just didn't have, the clock circuit was jacked up. So it worked. So this was the first thing where I went from black to, oh, what are the common problems? And then going down that path. It was great. It was a great experience.
And you made it work. And it's working, and it's great. And then I was testing it. And Ryan, you did watch my YouTube on that one because you teased me afterwards. Because I'm going through all my haul. I'm doing a haul video, and we're testing, repairing, blah blah blah, and or putting list of things to repair. And when I tested the 500, I realized, okay, my monitor's not going to sync properly with this one, so I had to go to composite output. And then I was like, hold on, I'm missing something.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm in the video going, Ryan, where's my GoTech? Because you also donated to me a GoTech.
Exactly. I picked up a couple for myself and got one for you, and left it in there's a very beat Amiga box. I'm like, you like boxes?
I do.
You're like, this thing's trash.
It's really beat. Yeah.
Yep. So you left the GoTech, and you left the power cable for it that I put in there. You left the power cable in the box. I'm like, what? There's a cable in the box. What's going on, man?
So half-ass. Everything was so half-ass all over the place.
And I'm looking around for the GoTech, and I'm like, I don't see it. And you're like, you're looking again. You're like, I don't have it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go look again. And I'm looking around. The GoTech's still in the white protective thing. You set it down on a tote in my spare bedroom that has a white lid, and they blended together. So I didn't see it until it was like, because I was looking at it was nighttime out when I looked.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, okay, I see light. And I'm like, wait a minute, that white's a little, found your GoTech.
Yay!
But got that back up. We made it to you. It's fine.
Response, Ryan's better half. She enjoys the Firefly series. And so I sent her I don't know if they were NECA or if there were somebody's knockoffs of the dinosaurs that are on Walsh's dashboard. So in response, I sent him a couple little fun things that his wife could have. And all of our shipping's done. I think we're all done. I need to line up an episode with you one Sunday to record and bring you in on the iPad and bring you to the bench, and we can work on the 500 and we can work on the GoTech, because I still barely understand what the hell you mean by I have to make a table of contents that I then match to ADFs. Why do the ADFs just not show up at the front panel? I don't know. So because the Pi 41, you just see all the disk images and you pick one.
Yep.
So I got to learn a little bit about that still.
Yeah, that's unfortunately not how that works for a GoTech, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, definitely. We'll get there. No, I'm glad that worked out. I'm glad we found everything. I'm glad everything works. I was a little nervous, and I'm just glad it all worked out. And it was a great trip.
It was.
And we got great stuff. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I mean, no one spent over $200. No. I mean, that motherboard was, with the bodges in place, it was a steal. It was a great price. With the bodges in place, it was a great price. I say great, good, right? Good price.
Good. I'll go with good.
And then, with the little other, and you got me the game for free, and I had donation stuff. I mean, it was a great time. And we'll see what else comes up next year on the freebie rack. Are you looking to unload more monitors next year? I know you got rid of a couple this year. Are you looking to bring more things to unload?
I don't know yet. I sold 2 out of the 3 CRTs that I had taken, which is great.
That was good.
I'm very happy with that. I've gone to 100% LCDs. I know it's not quite authentic, but it's just easier on my eyes.
Yeah.
And I get headaches from CRTs. I just don't want to deal with them.
Yeah.
So we'll see if I take more stuff or not. And we'll go from there. Either way, I'm looking forward to going back. I'm looking forward to another good time, looking for more good adventures. Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome.
Well, VCF Southwest is coming up for me in about a month. So this will definitely drop before that. Is there a wish list you're going to send with me to send you pictures if I see things in the consignment area?
You're just going to go look for Amiga stuff and go from there.
Okay. Well, dear listener, we'll see how many pictures I end up sending to Ryan, and if there's anything. I'm still on the hunt for a nice SX64, but we'll see. I should have bought that one, even though it all looked trashed. I still should have got that one because everything can come back to life. It seems like all this Commodore and Amiga stuff, you can, as long as you don't have the battery issue,
yes,
you can almost bring anything back to life.
They're pretty good. And you'll find another one that doesn't really. A part of this is the adventure.
Yeah.
And the path of finding the thing you're looking for. You're pretty busy. It's all good. It'll show up. You'll be like, oh, that's it. It'll be meant to be.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'd still need to check on their consignment setup. I need to do that maybe this week. And I'm going to try and take a few things, even if I just get some software out and maybe a chassis and a monitor, just try and clear up a little bit of room on my rack.
There you go.
As Ryan mentioned, clearing up, I have all this Apple stuff. I just need to hit the Facebook group and hit the locals. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not doing this for money. So it's not like I want to be on eBay to get the most scalped price possible off of something.
Right.
I just want to play with it and then pass it on. Except for my Commodore stuff. I don't think I'll ever pass on a lot of that.
That's fair.
Yeah. I like
totally
it.
Fair. That's awesome.
All right. Well, dear listener, I think that brings us to a close for the VCF East Hall review. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, take a look at our socials. We've got some things posted. And, Ryan, one day we need to sit down and tell everybody kind of what we do on our socials. Because, again, here I am talking about videos with this and having you on a video, and we do a podcast, and you do blog posts. We need to maybe break that down for some folks, because that way they could kind of see us in another light, doing other projects, not just recapping projects, maybe watching us do the project.
Exactly. I mean, I know you're more of the visual person. I'm more of a blog kind of guy, but we'll have some links. We might have some links on the rnrdoesstuff.com webpage. If we don't, we'll get them there, and that'll be a good way to find us.
And it's not WordPress, right?
No, it is not.
Okay, I heard that's the worst one to have, that it gets hacked all the time. I don't know why. Is it true?
Nope.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is that true? Tell me, post in the comment below, like and subscribe. All right, anything else, Mr. Reiner? I think I'm done.
I think I'm good. Well, thank you for coming along with us and for this ride, and we'll see you for the next one.
All right, bye now.